I need to call Jaleesa.
Hey, girl.
Jelly.
What you doing?
It's time to start planning for the 4th annual Millionaire Mindset Mixer.
The mixer?
I know, it's early.
It's only February.
But this is perfect timing. It allows us to be even bigger and even better. This year is going to be the biggest financial literacy event Denver has ever seen.
Yeah, bigger and better. You say that every year. Yeah. You say that every year. Bigger and better. Bigger and better.
I know, but trust me. This year is the year of elevation.
All right, girl.
Get the team ready.
You know I got you. Hey, girl. It's time.
What y'all trying to do? 24 karat magic in the air. Head to toe so bad.
Hey y'all. I am Gila Auset. Super excited to be here. We are going to go a little bit off script today because I have a couple of things that I want to address. I know we were on a chakra series. We are going to pick the chakra series back up in June, I promise. Because next week, I'm so excited to have my grandfather. He's going to be our elder. We are going to have an elder on every single month, the last Wednesday of the month. Also, next month starts guests. So we're going to start having guests next month. We're going to do all of that. But we're going to go on a soapbox today. And I hope that y'all are ready to hear what this soapbox is and the things that I have to say. Damo don't even know. He just knows I'm on fire. I came in the studio today like, I got some stuff to talk about. We changing up the whole format that I had because I got to talk about some stuff. So thank you for coming. You are on our network, not just for the people. We are the people. You know that I am here because we are an independent network and we want to make sure that we are providing the platform for our voices to be a beacon and a holder of the culture. I'm honored to be on this network. I am loving it. Everybody is loving it. The feedback I'm getting. Thank you for the critiques. Thank you for the celebrations. Thank you for all of that. And wait till next month. There's going to be people sitting on this green couch with me and we're going to really be getting into it. I have some really, really dope people in my village that I get to call colleagues, friends, family, village, all of that. And y'all will just get to be able to be like eavesdropping on what our regular conversations are. We don't do frivolous. We have purpose with everything that we do. And speaking of purpose, if you follow me on any social media platform, I am not the best at social media. And I am looking for a manager. If you know somebody who wants talent to manage, I'm looking for a manager. However, if you are on social media, any of my platforms, then you know that some of the things that were coming out with Diddy really triggered, and also I also recognize the responsibility of what we have to do when we are triggered, and then when we share that we're triggered, and then how do we come back and clean it up. So it is very important to me that we recognize what our triggers are, and I'm gonna show you an image of triggers and how they will come up for you. They are so random, and it's important that you have the tools to know what to do when your triggers come up, because triggers sometimes can also bring productivity. Let me say that again. Sometimes your triggers can bring productivity. If you are like me, you can be triggered and then throw yourself into work. I am a workaholic, because I love what I do. So you may not even be recognizing that you're triggered sometimes, right? And so realizing that depression can show up, insomnia, eating disorders, feeling pause, feeling all of the things, and knowing that you have the support to address your triggers. Now, part of this is going to be about triggers. The other part is going to be the collective community responsibility that we have to one another. It is counterintuitive to our spirit. Someone taught us this is a learned behavior collectively of individualism, and it ain't my business. That is something new and foreign to our natural holistic selves. Our natural holistic selves are invested in all parts of our community, our youth, our babies, our elders, and the working generation. There are some ditties in Denver. There are some ditties in Atlanta. There are some ditties in Cleveland. These are all of the cities that I am regularly in. And if we as a community are not willing to hold the space for accountability to happen, we are going to do a couple of a series on narcissism, but I am going to touch on narcissism just a little bit. And let me say this too. This is not specific to man or woman. If you are an abuser, you are an abuser. So I recognize that men are abused, men are manipulated, men are emotionally and verbally harmed, spiritually harmed. Like, I recognize all of that. So don't be up in my comments talking about, well, men do. I'm not in the oppression Olympics, and I'm not trying to say somebody is more oppressed than me. I'm saying the only way to address oppression is to address oppression, period. All right, so don't, cause I ain't the one, not over here. And I'm not in the mood today, if y'all can't tell. Shout out to Samia for my peanut butter jelly look today. She did that, but I'm still not in the mood. So I'm gonna just touch on it briefly, just briefly. Narcissism in the Black community. Once upon a time, narcissism, when I was in undergrad, I learned about narcissism, and it was very much explained as a white man's disease. All right. When I was introduced to narcissism, because from personal experience, because of my own domestic violent relationship, I dug. Y'all, I told y'all I'm a researcher. So I got to researching. I'm trying to understand, trying to do all of the things. But when narcissism shows up in the Black community, and this is something that is lacking in narcissistic research right now. When narcissism shows up in the Black community, it is an additional layer of falsehood because of the lack of access to true power, right? Narcissism is so associated to power, manipulation, being able to, right, and having tools that can navigate. Well, when you combine that with poverty, when you combine that with sexism and racism and all of the other things, narcissism in the Black community shows up very much the same in what is characterized, but there are some unique characteristics because it can be associated to the very things that we as a collective community fight for, i.e. Diddy. We have had this idea of Diddy and his, this grandioso being of who he is. But in our community, we have nothing that roots us, versus in other communities, there is access to power. There is access to real wealth. There is access, right? So when it's showing up in the hood on Colorado Boulevard, yeah, right, on Peachtree Street, when it's showing up in Euclid Ave, all the cities that I've been, wherever it's showing up, when it shows up, it's there's a layer of disassociation to the reality of reality, and an additional layer to that, because that already comes with narcissism. So it is very different. But I'm going to challenge. And let me say this. When I was a student, narcissism was associated only to white men. I might be telling my age, but it was only associated to white men. Now that narcissism, let me also say this too. People throw around the word narcissism, and it is not something that is easily, you can just say, oh, you're a narcissist. First of all, y'all stop using Google. Google is not your research. All right? Like, stop thinking because you Googled something that means that you now can diagnose someone. That's not how that works. So stop throwing around this word, because the reality is that all of us have narcissistic traits, because part of it is for survival, right? Part of it is for survival. And as long as that survival is happening, there are moments, right, where you do need to be self-centered for survival, for healing, right? The issue is when it becomes abusive and harmful to other people. Okay? So with knowing that we have these abusers in our community, I know everybody who's watching is sitting on their seat waiting for me to say my abuser's name. Y'all know I ain't got no problem saying it no more. Abdul Halim Ali was my abuser. But we have people in the community that are still in the community, right? Doing these things. My personal experience, Halim, it was known he was abusive. It was known. And he got a mayor's award. And my brother's keeper. And listen, I can go on, and even these organizations who we went to for help. And if we are going to cower because of relationships, because of whatever, listen, right now in this moment, God is asking us to be truth seekers. God is demanding us to be transparent, vulnerable, and honest, because that is where you find truth. A warrior cannot be a warrior if he is not vulnerable enough to receive the vulnerability of who that war is against. See, there's tactics to this. And if we can't call a thing, the thing will continue to exist. Let's not even just talk about domestic violence. Whose uncle was touching on the little girls and the little boys in the family? And we don't want to talk about it. Y'all need to. Y'all need to, because guess what? These babies are being failed by us. We can't blame nobody else, because we so quick to say it's on somebody else, but be the first one to say it ain't my business. It's counterintuitive to who we are. It is your business. It is my business. You should be saying, hold up, and what happened after that? To the little girl who you see is going through something, but you just gonna sit and watch her go through. That is not our nature. And I'm talking to the cultural competent folks who watch. See, I'm talking to whoever understands what it means to be in a cultural community. That is counterintuitive to who we are. If you see a baby crying, you're not gonna say nothing? What is wrong with you? You have created, and if you have become that desensitized, baby, let me tell you something right now. You are emulating an ideology that is counter to who your spirit is, and that is why things are out of alignment. Because it takes courage to say, you know what? I want to know who is harmful and who is not harmful. I need to know so that I know how to move, so that we can actually heal the community. You can't heal in the same spot that you got harmed in. It's impossible. You can't go break your leg and keep breaking your leg, waiting for your leg to heal. That's not how that works. You have to cast it up. You have to be still. You are limited to activities. The same process. But we have the I don't really like, and if you follow me on social media, you know what my process was with the whole Diddy stuff. I'm over it, but I was transparent and honest. But let me be very clear. I am more invested and interested in, are we ready to call out the Diddies that we call our homeboys? that we say is our homegirl. Sisters, are you ready to call out the sister who is keeping her child from their father for no reason? Brothers, are you ready to call out the brother that you know is beating on his girl? Don't be projecting this I'm real and this is who I am and all this bravado and all of this loudness and all of this whatever, but you can't call a thing a thing. You cower. In the moment where it is time to stand, you cower, then that is on you. So every complaint that you have of the community starts with you. And these triggers are going to happen. And now let me say this too. When you are triggered, be graceful to yourself. You are human. You are supposed to have triggers. It reminds you that you're human. It reminds you that there is no such thing as a destination of your journey. You are always on a journey. You are always growing, learning, and evolving. So just because you are going through your traumas, and they might come up. They might come up in anxiety, as you see. Thank you to Mindful Relationships. Might come up as depression. Might come up as nightmares. It might come up as somatic issues, emotional dysregulation, and relationship problems. These are all real impacts, and it can go on and on and on. This is why the chakra course is so important, because your traumas also impact the chakra that you're holding the guard in, that you're holding the block in. So if you were sexually abused, your sacral chakra that we just got done working with is probably blocked. And when triggers come up, it can be triggers if somebody says you're beautiful and you don't know how to respond, right? If you can't sleep, you're having nightmares, insomnia. These are all rooted in stressful triggers that we may not know how to navigate. And so if you, and listen, I very much believe in God, the higher power, the God of your understanding, whatever you subscribe to. If it makes you a good person, be a good person. I also want to stress that it is a cop-out to say, I'm going to just pray it away. Because faith without works is dead. So if you think that you have some triggers and some trauma that's happened to you and all you got to do is pray, no, baby. You actually have to do the work. And it might not be work and I'm picking up the couch. But you have to do mindset work. You have to do emotional regularity work. You have to do spiritual aptitude work. And it is just a bonus when you do the physical, because your dopamine, your brain starts working, you're sweating things out, your adrenals, your lymph system, all of these things get to working and activating and helping you align to literally detox out your body. That's why you fast. That's why, right? So don't think I am not of the ilk that says prayer is the only thing. No, it's prayer in conjunction with the work. And the work sometimes brings triggers. You are human. Be graceful with yourself. And sometimes when you are working through your triggers, you do need to pause. You do need to take a moment. You do need to take a day, right? Just stay committed to getting on the other side of that. And so right now, the world is triggered. We are highly triggered right now. I don't know if folks really understand just being on social media right now is like a constant 99 level of anxiety. You have to put it down. You have to put the phone down. You have to go read. You have to go walk. You have to go do something else. Because our bodies are operating in such a high level of stress and such a high level of trigger that we don't even know what the equilibrium is. We don't even know where our balance is. You know what I'm saying? We losing our hair. We do, right? Like we got younger and younger, cancer is showing up. Like all of these things, this is all stress and trigger related. But it starts with calling a thing a thing. Call it out. And as long as if you cannot call a thing, if you cannot call out the ditties in your community, if you cannot call out the, I forgot the mama's name. That's crazy. But if you can't call out the women in your community, the men in your community, don't say nothing about these babies. Don't say nothing about these babies. If you are like, that ain't my business, and I don't mean that ain't my business in the space of you are creating a boundary. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, you know good and well that your homeboy is a deadbeat. Why aren't you holding him accountable to go have a relationship with his children? You know good and well that your sis is a cokehead. Why aren't you encouraging her? And I said coke because surprisingly to me, I did not realize that coke is the new weed. Because I don't smoke weed. I don't do none of it. So I was like, what in the world? Everybody doing coke? Let me hear you say you doing coke around me, and I am going to hold you accountable. Whether it's my business or not, in your opinion, because it is my business, because you somebody's mama, you somebody's auntie, you somebody's daddy, you somebody's uncle, you somebody's son, you somebody's daughter. And that impacts all of us. It is counterintuitive to not care. It's not even in our spirit to do so. The ideology of individualism is a scheme. My second book is called, Rearrangement. Why self-help isn't working for you. Because it's self-help. There is something called interconnectedness. I started watching the Terrence Howard interview, and I love Terrence Howard. He is absolutely brilliant. One of the things that resonated with me is I remember being conceived. I remember being born. I remember asking for knowledge. I remember getting the knowledge. Like this is real high science. This is real. And science is now proving what once upon a time when I said these things I was crazy. But we are all interconnected. If you think that you really can exist in anything by yourself, you're crazy. And you have drunk the Kool-Aid. It is interconnectedness. We have to be together. We have to understand that I'm not saying codependency. I'm not saying be unhealthy. I'm saying it's unrealistic for you to think that it is just about you. Because if that was the case, then you would be on a planet by yourself. Oh, Lord. Okay. All right. I'm going to go into the next topic, because we are going to open up the lines for readings a little bit earlier so that I can get a little more readings done. Welcome to Colorado. I was on a conference call today, doing some presenting on cultural competency work and how to level the playing field, blah, blah, blah. As y'all know, education is my jam. And in the midst of this meeting, the Republican Party issues I don't know if it's a statement. I haven't even dove into it enough. But I am highly, highly upset about it. But the GOP announces that they are encouraging all Republicans to get out of public school systems. And they're saying to get out of public schools because public schools are trying to turn children trans. So here is a huge attempt of hijacking our movement. And it always happens. Always. It's going to always happen. It always happens. That's how feminism came in. Like if you study movements, it always happens. They hijack our grassroots work, our grassroots efforts, and then twist it to be what the narrative is for them that benefits them. And the them is whoever ain't with us. Okay. So the GOP has announced to basically boycott public schools because public schools are trying to turn our children trans. Now, let me tell you what has been happening since 2020. There is a huge influx of Black and brown families homeschooling, Black and brown families leaving the public school system, and also going into the private school sector. There are many, many new thoughts of doing school differently, from micro schools to homeschool co-ops to being a traveling student. I mean, there's a new array of what is defined as education. Why this has irritated me so much is it is taking away from the movement that was collectively happening. I don't care what your political party is, but when movement is happening, all of those lines and check boxes don't matter, because movement is for the progression of what is necessary for systems to be held accountable and to shift and to change and to do whatever. The audacity of jumping on the efforts of cultures and communities who are saying they are leaving the public school. And y'all just heard me last week say, y'all need to start investing in your children and put your children in private school. Selfish plug for VPAC, of course, but even if it's wherever it's at, even if it's a homeschool co-op, I don't care what it is. But yes, public schools are failing our children, not because of anything about trans. This is no, your baby can't read. Like, your baby can't even spell trans. Your baby doesn't know mathematics. Your baby is being fed medications when, if love, culture, understanding, and allowing students to learn how they need to learn truly existed, the spike in these meds wouldn't be necessary. My issue is now the Republican Party, I don't care if it was the Democratic Party, I don't care who it was. Now the Republican Party is going to jump on our grassroots back work associated to something that is so divisive and claim it as their movement. So then what happens is, as we are collectively, I just was telling my mother and my sister that when I start having grandchildren, I'm going to homeschool my grandbabies. I did homeschool my children before they went to school, and then there was a period where I did homeschool them. Unfortunately, I did not have all of the resources to be able to do it. But my intention was, I have an aunt who has 7 children and homeschooled all 7 of her children, their entire schooling, and they are all brilliant. So I saw this as an example, and I always wanted to do it. So with my grandchildren, I will do it, right? And so I am not in any way shifting from saying we should be exiting public schools. Still should go find a private school, still should homeschool, still should do something else. Invest in your children, invest in your children, invest in your children. I will always say that. However, now, because of this nastiness that the Republican Party did, now there will be a blanket approach for those of us who are just cultural and say, it doesn't have anything to do with what they're talking about. I just want my babies to be able to read. I don't think you all understand. We are in a literacy crisis. Like, over almost 80% of our students are not at grade level in anything. Not even PE, y'all. Like, there is a real disparity that is happening. And it is disgusting to me that any divisive approach, because they have a movement too. It may not be a movement that is beneficial for the collective, or maybe it is. I don't know. But any type of a movement that becomes divisive into what an organic movement was happening. And see, this is why we have to work together. This is why we have to have a proper voice. Who is going to be our voice? Who is going to be the person that says that we say, you know what, when something happens, we got to make sure we're calling A, B, C, and D. When something is going on, we need to make sure these organizations are there. Let me tell you something. And I am the and I'm the chairwoman of the Urban League of Metro Denver. And I am going to say that there are so many organizations who are too busy wanting to be the HNIC, and we should be collaborating and doing work. Y'all, we have been so infiltrated. And somebody's got to call a thing. Somebody's got to say, you know what? You might be operating an ego, and we need to figure out how to get past your ego so that we can actually get something done for our students. I don't want to participate in no more marches. Please don't call me to no more panels. I don't, what are we doing? What are the tangible results that someone can say we collectively came together, and as a result, we opened VPAC back. As a result, we now have Black leadership that we are supporting. As a result, we are investing in our children. That's what are the results? There is a lot of conversation. There is enough research. What is actually happening? And there's enough posts too. Just because you post doesn't mean that you produce. That's a bar. That's a bar, huh, Damo? That was a bar. Bars on bars. Y'all, I'm irritated. And when I get irritated, I need a soapbox. Today, my irritations were the triggers, calling a thing of the abuses and the harms that are happening in our community. Listen, I did a whole thing. My Diddy's name is Abdul Halim Ali. What's your Diddy's name? What's your baby mama? Who is it? Who is the person that needs to be held accountable and called out? And in my humble opinion, because in antiquity, you were ostracized until you did your work. You couldn't come back. You couldn't come back into village until we knew you was straight. I'm not opposed to that because I'm old school to the mug, and I'm for my people, and I'll sit with my people this is what needs to happen. Unless you know how to show up in integrity, in dignity, in honor, in transparency, and all of the things, that's a warrior. Check my warrior. That's what we should be saying to each other. Steel sharpens steel. But as long as we're allowing these weak, limber, bendable folks with the mask on, we're not gonna heal. So stop getting upset and complaining. Because as long as you are coddling something, you lose, you forfeit your opportunity to even try to say something. All right, y'all, we're going to go ahead and jump into the Zoom. If y'all want to do some free readings, yes, I am irritated today. I am. However, I know how to redirect my fire. So we're going to take a commercial. Y'all going to remember that August, you going to be with me August 3rd, all August 3rd. In the morning, we going to be at Millionaire Mindset. And at night, we going to be at VPAC's summer show. Also, y'all, if you're not in Atlanta, so my Denver folks, my Cleveland folks, y'all are going to be in Atlanta with me on August 24th. I'm going to run this commercial because we're doing something. And we want to do something. And we need you to do this with us. I need to know what you're doing. And I need y'all to come sit on the green couch with me so we can talk and demonstrate what it looks like. But don't come sit on my couch just to talk. If you're not ready to actually collaborate, if you're not ready to actually say, here's what we produced. I was on the green couch, and then in 60 to 90 days, we did this. I don't want it. I done talked to everybody. I don't want it. Be ready to come do some work. Even if it's your self-work. We're going to run this commercial. We're going to come back, do some readings. And, because I need some water. All right, Damo.
Leadership Foundation was a huge success. Black Leadership Foundation, or BLF, is a tax-exempt organization that will close the philanthropic gap for Black-led, Black-serving organizations and businesses. BLF is dedicated to empowering and uplifting Black leaders to drive positive change in their communities and beyond. Our foundation provides financial resources, leadership development, and networking opportunities to support the growth and development of Black leaders in various fields. BLF acknowledges the disparities, systemic oppressions, racism, and any other mechanisms designed to keep us in the current conditions we are in. While we acknowledge those roadblocks, BLF is focused on creating and sustaining real solutions. We don't want to talk about it, we want to be about it. BLF raises funds through collective contribution levels. Individuals, businesses, organizations, and other philanthropic foundations are invited to financially contribute to the investment of Black leadership. BLF is dedicated to raising a minimum of $500,000 with 500 Level 1 contributors to distribute $100,000 to 4 deserving organizations. The ultimate goal is to raise $2.5 million by reaching and sustaining 500 contributors at Level 3. BLF aims to develop impactful leaders through executive and economic coaching rooted in collaborative fundraising that enhances the Black community. Black-led funding for Black-led, Black-serving companies and organizations will contribute to closing the gap in philanthropy, economic development, health and wellness of our communities. Become a Level 1 contributor and set the roots for BLF to grow. At this level, you donate $1,000. Become a Level 2 contributor and see the roots sprout for BLF. At this level, you donate $2,500. Become a Level 3 contributor and see BLF trees providing the oxygen that our communities need. At this level, you donate $5,000. BLF asks that each level contributor commits to a 3-year commitment. For the 2023 Harlem Nights launch party, BLF thanks all of our partners and everyone who came from across the country to celebrate with us. Join us August 24th, 2024 for the Hawaiian Luau Brunch at the Gathering Spot. Once we surpass our fundraising goal, we will be able to grant 4 deserving Black leaders with a minimum of $100,000 for their organization or business. For more information and how you can commit to becoming a collective contributor, visit us at www.blackleadershipfoundation.org. We cannot wait to see you next year. Let's change the world.
Back. All right, I guess y'all want me to stay on my soapbox because if you don't join the Zoom to get your free reading, then I am going to assume y'all want to keep hearing me be. Let me be an example of how to be on fire.
Now, if you really know me, you do know that there's a professional Auset and then there's, if you know me, Auset. So I came in here on fire and got to get the fire out. And it's very important that you get the fire out. Don't try to hold the fire in. But there is also the process of like balancing it out with the water and balancing it out with the air and balancing it out with the earth, right? So I don't want to leave on like everybody can get it, but they can. But I do want to just recognize that it's also important to process. If you do take the chakra course is June 3rd, I think, June 3rd through the 7th. And if you do take the chakra course, you will, one of the principles that we do address is coping versus processing. And a lot of times, especially those of us in underserved communities, thank you, Damo. Damo is so good, y'all. So, like, he's just so good. But the chakra course is June 3rd through the 7th. And if you do take it, you will learn what is the difference between processing and coping and how do you actually use this as a mechanism in your healing journey and a mechanism to be your best full self. And again, I just want to help you remember who you are. This should be a reminder course. It's not, I mean, you're going to learn something, of course, but it's going to resonate in your spirit because the point is to penetrate that. The point is to remember and remind you that you are a divine being and you have a divine calling with divine gifts that you are supposed to share with us all. So go visit the website www.healerausetmiriam.com and you can register, or you can text healing to 720-620-2316 and that is my direct line, so I will be able to get you all of the information that you need to make sure that you are ready to take the course. And it's fun. The other benefit to taking the course is that once you take it once and you complete it, well, not even complete it, I can't even say that, but once you take it once, you can take it for free for the rest of your life. And that is a concept because it is necessary. Triggers are real. You're going to have to you might need a refresher course. Everyone does. So register. In the spirit of showing up for our babies, I cannot not mention VPAC. I cannot not mention November is 20 years. This is crazy. I mean, every time I say that, it just feels like I don't even feel like I'm old enough to say that. But it'll be 20 years of serving the Denver metro area in performing arts education for the youth. And it expanded from just performing arts to so many other things, healing circles, peer-to-peer, like so many other things. And our network, and we are going to be doing a documentary on this, on the journey of VPAC, highlighting the group that we are working with now, our 20th cycle of students and what that looks like. And this year, last year we did it too, but this is now what we do for summer camp. Every July, we are 2 weeks in Atlanta training, 2 weeks in Denver training. It is such a profound experience. Y'all, let your children leave the box state before college without you, just to prepare them for college. But more than anything, like travel, like instill in your children to travel, especially if they are from Denver and especially if they are Black from Denver. It just gives such a rich experience and boosts their confidence. Also, get them in an HBCU. Shout out to my niece. Today she graduated, Maria Johnson. This is Michelle and Midas's oldest daughter. My niece, it's crazy, like to cry and to like, it's just crazy. And we've raised our children together. I've been watching Ray play basketball since she was in elementary school. So like it's just crazy. And she got a full ride scholarship. So shout out to my niecey. I love you and I'm super proud of you. But yes, but make sure that you are like exposing your children. So summer camp in Atlanta is huge. We're also doing a summer camp in Denver for June for folks who aren't going. We will be practicing in Athletics and Beyond. That is our brother organization. We'll be there from noon to 5, Monday through Friday. Lunch and snacks are provided. Make sure that you get your students involved. If you register them by the end of the month, then I am taking, last week I did $100 off. I'm going to take $200 off. So it's only $300 for the month of June to get your student exposed to dance. They do a performance, they do all of that. But it's so much more than dance. They get healing, they get village principles, they get all types of stuff, and they're going to walk away in such a good thing. Thank you, Damo. Damo's so good, y'all. He's so good. But that is summer camp registration. So the cost is $500. If you register and you let me know you registered because you watched the show, $200 off, $300. Space is limited. I only have about, I don't, it's no more than 5. I know that. There's not any more than 5 slots. So I know for sure it might even be 3 because I think people registered today. But That doesn't mean don't go get your spot. So $300, get your students involved, get your students enrolled. Noon to 5, it's a wonderful, wonderful experience. And then if they are interested in being on the bigs team, this is great exposure for them. And also if they want to be on the littles team, it's great exposure. Okay, let's get back to my soapbox. But why we got a couple of more minutes? Because the couple of minutes that I have to share, I do want to shout out the people who are courageous. The people who have no problem calling a thing a thing. You are a warrior. Whether you're a male, whether you're a female, whether you're an elder, whether you're a child, whether you're a teenager, you are a real warrior. And the reason why we need you to continuously do it, and listen, the work is hard. The work is heavy. It can be isolating. You might think that you got a tribe, and then you realize that your tribe is actually cowards. You might think that folks is ready to do the work, and all I'm going to say is as long as you are listening and as long as you are aligning, everything you will attract. But you also have to make sure your mindset is ready. You can't go into victim mentality. You can't go into blaming. You can't go into not looking at yourself as well, because we always still have work to do. And to my warriors who have no problem calling a thing, being transparent, being vulnerable, saying it is my business, showing up the way that your immediate circle needs you to, your community, your church family, your family, whoever it is that you show up for, keep doing that. Keep doing that and keep healing and keep the balance. Keep the balance of knowing that I'm confidently showing up and I'm confidently doing this. I'm confidently being who I am supposed to be. And I am on a journey just like everyone else. And I also have to continue to work. And I also have to continue to show up, to continue to make contacts, to continue to figure out how to be interconnected. Because people get away with being diabolical and evil and harmful and hurtful and just outright mean because nobody is calling it out. So if you have the courage, and here's the other thing, you also have to be strategic when you call a thing a thing. A lot of times people like to woo, hoo, 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 rah, 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 right? We like to always be able to, but let me tell you something. You have to be strategic. There is a gracefulness. There is a wisdom. And the youth, let the youth find who you should be mentoring, but also make sure you're connected to your mentor, right? Like find who you should be nurturing up to one day be in your seat, but also be humbly at the feet of whoever seat you are about to take. You have to recognize the connectivity of all of us. And if you are hurt, if you are harmed, so am I. And until we get back to our natural selves, not our nurtured selves, that self-help stuff, that is all about me stuff, there are moments for that. It's called the ma'at. There is a balance to all of that, right? Like, yes, have that balance, but don't be in a circumstance where you are so isolated in your own selfishness that you forget that the only way to be productive in your selfishness is to be balanced in selflessness, right? And so it's all right to have the two. And the duality of life, right? Like we tend to see the triggers or see the harms or see the whatever, and we'll sulk in that. And we'll forget that there is always the other side. The sun is always going to come up. The rainbow always comes after the rainbow. Like and if we get disciplined and understanding the cyclical nature of processing, when hiccups happen, when triggers happen, when harms happen, we're able to say, pause, what did I do? Where am I at? Let me do a self-examination first. And in that self-examination, then I'll be able to call a thing a thing. Oh, this was the lesson because I was hard-headed and I didn't pay attention to the signs. But the signs were there. See, God is so divine. God is so remarkable. We can't even understand how interconnected we are. All we know is we can feel it. And y'all know when you get that little gut in your feeling, or you get your little goosebumps or something because you're in the right moment, or you're in the right season, right? Or you're in the right trajectory. Like ensuring that you understand there's something bigger than what you've been fed and nurtured. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. It is your business. It is my business. I don't know. Spirit is telling me, I'm getting a message. Spirit is telling me to allow y'all to tell me who you want to see on the green couch too. So I'm with it. I'm with it. Tell me who. But again, my only prerequisite is don't come on my couch if you're just a talker. And don't recommend nobody who's just a talker. I need folks who are going to say, Auset, I think we can do this in this way. And I'm going to say, I want to follow your lead. I want to collaborate because your brilliance is necessary. Your genius is we're longing for it. We want you to be your best self. The gifts that are in you that you are not allowing to unpack, you are not unwrapping to hand to us. We need that. We need that. So y'all tell me who you want on the green couch. I already know. I mean, my whole crew is dope. So my whole crew, you will meet who I call my circle and my village. But more than anything, I also recognize that I don't know everybody. I don't know everything. I don't know who's doing what. Right? I recognize that it's necessary to do the connection. So how can we do the connection? I would love to hear your suggestions. And we are now opening up the lines for readings because we got the followers and the likes and the shares that I promised our network we would. I am so honored to be on this network. I'm so honored I'm telling y'all, now every Wednesday, even shout out again to Samia, like we get excited. Like she's like, oh girl, what you wearing? What you gonna have on? Like today was peanut butter jelly. Today my makeup was peanut butter jelly. So like, the investment is happening, but we need the investment to keep happening with the community. I need to know that y'all want me to keep the show because y'all might not like the show. I need to know those critiques. I want to hear what is productive and what is not productive because I need you. There ain't nothing more to it. Like I need you. I need you to like. I need you to share. I need you to follow. I need you to subscribe. I need you to be here every Wednesday with me. I need you to be right here saying, I want to sit on the couch. I know somebody who should sit on the couch. Even if you want to get a reading, a live reading, and you want to do your healing work on the couch. If you courageous like that, come on. You ain't got to be on the Zoom. You can say, hey, I want you to hear this situation. If it's a couple, I work with couples. I work with families. I work with individuals. I work with everybody. So whatever work that y'all think is necessary, come on. But more than anything, before we close, I just want you to know that we need you. Our network is not just for the people. We are the people, and we take that very seriously. You will see us in the community. You will see us showing up and doing the work, and we will continue to do that. And we will continue to take heed to what the people are telling us that they need, right? And the people are saying what needs to happen. So in alignment with being committed to not just for the people, we are the people. Tell me what y'all want on this show, and tell me if you want it. If you love the show, if you don't like the show, if whatever, but like, share, and follow. I am Healer Auset Miriam. I love what I do. I hope you love what you do. And if you don't, let me help you get to where you love what you do because you are a gift to us. We need you The world needs you, your gifts, your talents, everything that you have to bring. Let's collaborate because we have a whole generation to save. We have so many babies that are waiting on us. And if we do this together, it is not hard and it is not long. It just requires a mindset shift, a spiritual aptitude, and a commitment in our emotional being that no matter what, we are not going to allow anything to penetrate. We already know the results. But if we show up together, gosh, what we could do. And I believe in my people to the fullest, to the fullest, to the fullest. I love y'all. Next Wednesday, same time, same place. Share, like, follow. Make sure that you follow me on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok. I just be showing my age. I know my children probably be like, oh, you are such an old lady. But yes, make sure that you are supporting. I love y'all. Thank you for being with me. I'm so excited. We getting in our little groove. Damo, my engineer, he back there doing his thing. I don't know. Are you called an engineer or a producer? I don't know what it is. But engineer. And so it's not, and I will always say this is all I do is show up. I promise you, that's all I do is show up. And Damo makes sure that everything is exactly where it needs to be. Shout out to Tux and all of our network. There are more shows. Keep watching, keep following, keep liking, keep sharing. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss anything. I love y'all. We will see y'all next week. Peace.